according to the laws of this country, I will now conclude the trial by delivering my final verdict. I trust there are no objections. Is the footnote that I can object? Suzato, just tell me one thing. Oh, yes? You were in the middle of saying something before. The footnote in your Encyclopedia of British Law. However, the defense... What did it say next? Oh, yes, of course. One moment. All members of the jury having concluded that the defendant is guilty, proceedings are suspended, and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. The footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summation examination of the jurors at this point. Ooh. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do whatever that is. A summation examination?
Objection!
Summation examination. From which century has that tome you have there been resurrected? Ah. Judging from the binding, I would say the book is at least 50 years old. Any modern text in British law wouldn't even give such an antiquated procedure a mention. It's a relic, long forgotten, and certainly no longer practiced, but actually still part of the law, right? So you're out of luck. Oh. What even is it, Mrs. Otto? The so-called summation examination. Oh, one moment, and you should just keep that open. I'll read about it. You would demand the right to procedure before you even understand what it entails? Typical Nipponese. Have you met one of us? Whatever. Alright, Mr. Naruhodo. I think I understand. It seems that under this procedure, we would be able to appeal to the members of the jury. To do what exactly? Appeal to them to change their leaning and reverse their decisions. All it says here is that, if successful, the proceedings of the trial must be resumed. Make them reverse their decisions. Yes, in times gone by, barristers would use summation examination attempt to influence the jury's decision. But that procedure became something of a formality with no practical benefit, really. So it rather fell out of use. I wonder why. This is devoid of purpose. Changing just one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough, let alone several. No self-respecting defense barrister would even assert his right to try in this day and age. Still... I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that although it may be antiquated and largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, might as well take the chance. Someone's life on the line. Might as well use everything in our power, right? Sort of right. The defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination, my lord.
Objection!
London is the capital city of the most powerful nation on earth. We have a duty to the world to exemplify the very high standards of judicial procedure. Summation examinations are an embarrassment that should remain buried.
Objection!
But if it's our right, it's our right. I believe it could prove vital in this trial. The defense's petition is perfectly valid. The court will proceed with the summation examination. Ugh, this is madness. Woman, are you and the remainder of the jury ready? Huh? Well, I'm not, there's no mention of this in the letter I received, you see, so... All members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they have reached their decision. On what grounds? You must all justify your decision and explain why you believe the defendant to be guilty. Well, my lord, you're rather putting us on the spot. I mean, you literally are saying this guy should die. And you can't be bothered to explain yourself? Come on. This is most irregular. No mention of this was made before. If it's such a problem for you, how many of you... That would be a very interesting thing, wouldn't it? Like, this guy sounds corrupt as fuck, like the person we're defending. He sounds corrupt. I'm not going to doubt what Van Zee said, right? But how, with someone with that level of influence, it is extremely hard to get an impartial jury, right? Not only do they know reputation in that sort of stuff, they also are in a situation where they themselves could be in the debt of this guy. Seems to have thrown the jurors off. Seems none of them have experienced this before. Alright then, summation examination. A defense procedure no practicing lawyer has attempted for years, is it? Well, just maybe. Might be the opportunity we've been looking for. To turn this trial around. Interesting. So be it then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The court hereby calls upon you to state on the grounds in which you find the defendant, Magnus McGilded, guilty of this most serious crime. Got it. Let's do this. There's no one else inside the carriage at the time. So is it basically going to be another, a different way of proceeding, like with testimony, but from the jurors? There's no one else inside the carriage at the time. It has to have been him. I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers, with fares totaling 20 pence. I don't think we have anything establishing the precise amount. Oh, he stuck the chop next to him, just like this. Brazen, I say. Absolutely brazen. That's not what the motion that we were told, but still. I've simply typed and collated all the statements made thus far and drawn a logical conclusion. That's not a reason! You can trust the guild. Fair fares is our motto. We haven't raised prices above 4 pence for years. There's the contradiction! The scoundrel stabbing the poor man on the floor, beggars belief. I found the contradiction! Finally! Oh my goodness, this really did feel like Lost until just fucking math saves the day. Oh, some of the jurors don't seem to have wonderfully formed arguments though, do they? Well, let's see what we can do. We need to press them, I presume? Throw everything I can at them. Use some very persuasive language. Just a moment, Mr. Naruhodo. According to my book, that's not quite how it works. Oh? Though I was going to have to I thought I was going to have to thaw their icy minds with some heartwarming rhetoric about the defendant. Unfortunately, once the jurors have decided the defendant is guilty, they're unlikely to heed anything the defense says. But then, they've reached their conclusions by their own reasoning, you see. Your pleas will sound like excuses. In fact, it could recoil on you. The more you try to persuade them, the more entrenched they may become. What on earth am I supposed to do? It does feel like a very gamey mechanic for, like, like if you press too much and that sort of stuff. But the nature of, like, Ace Attorney as a series is, like, you can't really put things on this, like, gauge of, like, leaning. It has to be at least a little bit. Because you always need to be able to have that way to move forward unless you pick the wrong choice, right? It's not like you fall below a threshold and you can never come back from it, right? Alright, I'm sorry. Do you have any idea how to make this work, then? Evidence? Well, from what I can understand, the keys to this procedure is using the jurors' own words to make your arguments. Oh, fantastic, because that's exactly what I needed to do. Basically, point out how they believe they're both point out how 2 of them are sincere in their beliefs, and point out how their beliefs contradict each other to make them be like, okay, we don't see everything yet. Clearly something's wrong. Well, the 6 members of the jury are randomly selected members of the public. They may appear to present a united front, but the truth is, they are complete strangers who just happen to find themselves here in the courtroom together. And that's why to break them down. And that's the way to break them down, you mean? Yes, exactly. We must listen very carefully to what each member of the jury says, and see if we can identify any contradictory statements. Yes, we already did that. If we can, then we can contrast the statements and pit the corresponding jurors against each other. I see. So it's contradictions in what 2 or more jurors say that we're looking for. In a way, then, This is similar to a regular cross-examination. Oh, yes, I suppose you're right. I thought that might be it. My contradictions in the statements and pit the jurors against one another to break them down. All right. I might be able to pull this off. No, that's not right. I have to pull this off. Let's go. Can we start proceedings, counsel? I would ask that you take a stand for this. I'm expecting clear and concise rebuttal. Yes, my lord. Okay. One, I'm definitely saving, because I don't know precisely how this pit stuff actually works. I feel like it's gonna, like... So if I go X, what happens? Okay, so you just select two of them and say these contradict each other. The two statements clearly contradict each other.
Hold it!
4 minutes straight, I refuse to accept the outlandish interjection. Hmm? There's no contradiction here, you young... None whatsoever. Wait. Oh, fuck! I picked the... I'm a stupid face. I'm a stupid face. I'm a dumb face. I forgot which one actually made the comment about the thing before. It's her that said it. That's my bad.
Objection!
For some reason, I got in my mind that the stabby guy said that. They do. Explain yourself, counsel. Me? Oh dear, what have I said? I swear on the Silver Blaze's maiden name, I haven't the first idea what you're talking about. According to the group testimony we've heard so far, there were 4 passengers on the omnibus in the night in question. According to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 20 pence in fares. Words right? I have those precise details typed neatly in front of me. And juror number 5 also told us the following. The fare for the omnibus is always 4 pence. That it is. A fair and convenient single price. Just the way London carriages should be operated. But that doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts. Why, man, why? 4 passengers paying 4 pence each. If you do the multiplication... it would be 16 pence? Exactly. As I said, it doesn't add up. Figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact. Or precisely 1 person's fare. 1 person's fare. Yes, in other words, on the omnibus that night, it's distinctly possible. There was another passenger we've heard nothing about. Good gracious! Unless he was wrong about the number, this can't be right. The coachmen of the guild are good, honest men, one and all. Trust me, this is our watchword. It is possible, 1, he got something wrong. I don't think Beppo seems like the guy to mistrust here. Fair play seems like the obvious candidate. Obviously. Because he also has a debt. Instead of considering he's the only one that's been called out as having a debt to him, too. I was originally going into this examination thinking like, oh, are we gonna like point out that they're like not an impartial jury? Like maybe they all have debts in some form. The figures your coachman claims most certainly do not add up. You know, watchwood, it's a fallacy. I beg your pardon? Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now, the news will surely spread all over London. The news that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that he lets nefarious characters ride his omnibus. Alright then. Ought to make this so this miserable trial doesn't end then, huh? What's in you're guilty? Well, according to my book here, you simply launch a ball of fire into the innocent side set of the scales. Now hold your horses there, coachman. We're all in agreement. Why do you have to go in? Wait till I get my hands on you, bro! Uh-oh. Yay! Yay! Oh, this is all very irritating. Begging your pardon, sir. I'm going to do the same. At least until the matter's cleared up, I'm sure. Well, love of Mike, not you as well. A penny can be the difference between a smile and a tear, after all. I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exacting standards in financial matters. Oh, really? I, for one, think it's only proper that we hear from the witnesses again. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. You did it! We can manage to change 2 more jurors' minds. We can force the trial to continue. 2 more. Actually, there's something else that's bothering me about a couple of their assertions. And that's where you must strike next. I need to pit 2 more jurors against each other so to show there's a contradiction in their assertions. Okay, I didn't notice another one going through the first time. But... oh, the scales of justice have shifted, but they weigh heavily on the side of guilt. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue with your summation examination. Got it. Let's see what the bookkeeper has stuck in the chat. Yeah, that's so vague, I might want to press on it. Beppo, this trial has to continue so I can get to the bottom of this corruption. Not guilty, I say. This scoundrel stabbing that poor man on the floor. Becca's belief. Oh, yeah, that's... I don't think there's anything about being on the floor, and then his, yeah, so if I was gonna... I guess it would have to be these two, because they're both about stabbing, right?
Objection!
Those 2 statements completely contradictory. What? Explain, counsel. Both days. Oh, dearie me, I was only knitting a jumper for my other half. What's all this claptrap? What does contradictory even mean, I ask you? Oh, well, that's a problematic lack of vocabulary. We've heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3, what? Can't you see that I'm busy here? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? What sort of motion was it? Ha! Want to test me, do you? It was like this. It's like the fellow next to him without even getting up. Ha! Just like the Brimbecker said. Yes, that was Mr. Fairplay's testimony. Quite true. Now then, juror number 6. Oh, is that me, is it? What can I do for you, young man? Oh, you gotta love 6s. She's so nice and sweet and bloodthirsty. How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madam? Oh, well, dear, as far as I understand it, it was like this. He stabbed the poor man after he collapsed onto the floor. The coachman said so. Did he? I don't remember that. Now don't move. Take a look at these 2 jurors. He's like the fellow next to him without even getting up. And he stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor. Well, I never. They're very blatant contradictions, which I don't even remember them mentioning those details. They're stabbing in totally different directions. What? Oh, bless my stitches, what a muddle! But this tells us that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth. Oh. But why? Why the dickens would they lie? I don't know that yet. But what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen in all good conscience? Lies, you say? Oh, dearie me. Can't abide people telling lies. Nah. She's so cute. I'll take her out to dinner. The scales. I don't believe it. Wait! Now hear this, my fellow jurors. I warn you, you cannot listen to this man. Look at him, in his black suit, he's clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using magic on all of us. Oh wow, you sound fucking desperate. If I could use magic, do you really think I'd be putting myself through all this? No, it's me, this dog Jinx. Huh? Me? Oh, that sounded really racist. I don't even know what that means, but it sounded racist. What exactly is the problem? What of it if two witnesses have slightly different recollection of events? What's of it? Let's say, the Shylock did stab the victim as he was sitting next to him on the omnibus. This young dandy saw him do it. And now let's say the victim collapsed on the floor and then the Shylock stabbed him again. And the old lady saw him do it. Well, what's to say it didn't happen like that? Multiple stabbings? Who are you calling a dandy, sir? Why, I should take this knife to you. Who are you calling old? So I should take this needle to? Yeah, kill him. Kill him. Kill him. Stick him in the throat. Yeah, they're ready to kill each other now. But could the foreman and the jury be right? The two witnesses see two different moments of the same crime. It is definitely out of the question because there's a blood stain not on the floor at all. Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman. What is it, you dog juice? Come on, out with it! What you're suggesting is impossible. It is out of the question. Huh? What are you talking about, man? How could you possibly say that? You do realize I'm only doing my job. As foreman of the jury, I have a responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. But you decided a right direction. Where's your evidence, man? That's what we want to see. I say two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime. If you say that's out of the question, show me your proof. It looks like the only way I'm going to convince him is to present him with something he can't dismiss. Some irrefutable hard evidence. As you wish. What? I'll give you the proof. It's out of the question that two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime. It's proven by... Let's see if anything else is clearly visible, but if it's partially obscured. Single stab wound. Oh, yeah, that's much more definitive.
Take that!
It says single stab wound. I mean, other evidence suggests it too, but that is definitive. This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason would have been stabbed in the abdomen. Only once. Only once? It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely one time. Which means these witnesses can't possibly have seen it happen two different times. Alright, I can see defeat. Nice guy. Nice, good old stabby. Good old stabby guy. Wait, that means four jurors are now leaning to not guilty. We've done it, Mr. Naruto. We've won. Wait. We've won this specific part of it. What are you playing at, you dandy fool? Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me. We've had a consensus. I said shut your trap. I know a liar when I see one. And if the chap ever dares to cross the threshold of my shop, take this razor sharp blade and shave every last hair off his head. That's a lot less... I mean, is it like a sanitation threat? Like, you're gonna, like, lick it before you do it and it's gonna get, like... Please tell me he's a barber. I don't think you use a knife to be a barber even back then. Well, in a quite remarkable turn of events. The defense's summation examination has flipped the balance of the scales of justice. The jurors now stand at 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there's no longer a large enough majority among the jury for me to adjudicate. And the trial must continue. Yay! We did it! I hereby ask the defense, prosecution, and witnesses to return to their places. And I call upon all of you to continue to pursue the truth. I'll reach out, I'll reach out to the truth. Sorry, immediately Persona's 4 I'll reach out to the truth jumped in my head. Lord Van der Zeeks, continue to substantiate the case for the prosecution, if you please. Got it. I hope you like that. I'm going to take a drink of water, but if you're going to take forever to do it, I'll drink a drink of water. I'm not doing that with my water. That'll get all over the fuck. That'll get all over my fucking setup. Having savored the rich aroma of calm mean contents of this hollow chalice, it may seem crass to crush it to dust. Pray forgive this discourtesy. Lord Van Zees? Is it cold in here, or is it just me? As your antiquated tome no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during the summation examination. So I honored a deadly silence and listened to the charade. It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. That's rude. Well, no matter. There's nothing so hard to prove as a self-evident truth, it would seem. No, and why else would we grace the courtroom with our presence after all? So, let us proceed to the next round of battle. Wow, this is a nice guy. I like him. He's very intimidating. I will say. Is he saying that he overestimated their intelligence for, like, their reasons for going guilty? Or is he overestimating their intelligence for being willing to listen to me say not guilty in some form? Bring forth the witnesses. Once more. This is really good. None of the other Ace Attorney games have, like, this much... This feels like the most dynamic version of this, like, courtroom system I've ever played in these games. I played the first 5 mainline games, and that's the extent of it. But I don't remember any of them being like this, just purely interesting in how he, like, went about the little elements of it. Because it's really interesting, not because, like, the specific, like, it's simple. You have this contradiction to this contradiction, but it's really well contextualized. And I vaguely remember from the last chapter that it was similar, where just, like, the methods of, like, presenting the, like, little mini games that make up the gameplay of this were so, like, well contextualized in just the process of finding the truth that it was just, like, really engaging for that alone. You didn't have, like, little mini games that, like, mean nothing and you went off and just did whatever, right? Witnesses, I trust you heard the summation examination we just had to endure. Oh yes, that's it's of course I heard it. Oh, yeah, yes, sir, I heard it. You, sir, on the end, the coachman. I believe it's Beppo. Oh, yes, sir, my lord, sir. If it transpires that in your previous testimony, you were attempting to veil the presence of a fifth passenger on your omnibus, you'll be found guilty of perjury. You are advised to bear that in mind, sir. Oh, mio dear. Oh my goodness, someone actually being found guilty of perjury? This is not an Ace Attorney game. Now then, witnesses, I hereby call on you to testify before the court again. You will explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense's summation examination. He's the only one I think is maliciously lying. Various misgivings. I only carried 4 passengers that night. I swear it, but... Well, I for one was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus. He filtered us on the fare, he did. And then I saw that blood-curdling sight. Well, it's all too much. I tell you, I saw McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands. Oh, yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so, yes. Oh, he doesn't seem very sure. Counsel, make sense of this for me, please. The phantom fifth passenger conjured in existence by my learned Eastern friend never existed. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little cousinage. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that. I don't think I've seen that word before. Beppo, explain yourself!
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Guild Master.
The guild's fare is 4 pence across the board. You know that. Am I to understand that you've been overcharging our passengers by a penny a fare?
It's so cold, and the last run of the day is always half empty.
You have been dishonest, coachman.
I'm sorry.
It's a lie, but it's not malicious. You are a disgrace, Beppo, a disgrace. And your selfish actions have brought dishonor to the entire guild.
If I may, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week.
What?
4 passengers at 5 pence each.
Yeah, this guy's world is just getting shaken.
4 passengers at 5 pence each is, yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but just can't make the results come out differently.
No, that figures. But we should get the chance to present one of the other things that we have, because we have the note about him being in debt to him, right? No, that figures.
Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained.
So, counsel for the defense. Cross-examination, if you please.
I've already had the pleasure of a protracted summation examination today.
I see you intend to continue the Paula games. I will do everything in my power. Absolutely.
Okay. How to approach this?
Start from the beginning. Okay, back. Took a little break. Yeah, this is the only one that I can think to actually be like, yeah, something might be up with this one. Earlier, you testified you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you? Yeah, I have no idea how he would. He was driving the fucking carriage. If he screamed and then he turned around and noticed, that makes no sense. Because that would have happened before, and it was only one stab.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Still just scared and stuff. Except the victim was on the floor, described as the assailant holding the knife in an ice pick grip. Which... what is an ice pick grip? Which one was that?
I suppose I might have you know, yes. Put the cart before the horse, maybe.
What's this?
Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horse when I heard screams from the seats on the roof. I heard a scream from the seats on the roof deck. I heard the screams from him.
Oh, I suspect that was me, sir.
When I turned around, yes, I saw it through the skylight. The gentleman was on the floor. The knife was sticking up out of his midriff.
You couldn't have seen it, though. Can I put that on the fucking record? He's changed. They both changed their expression.
Excuse me!
If I may, Mr. Fairplay.
What are you vossicking for now?
That last statement appears to have given you a pause for thought.
Not really.
By the way, you always seem to be looking to the side, one way or the other.
Do you have some affliction?
Not really.
He's not really willing to say anything, it seems. Your business anyhow.
Not long ago, this trial very nearly came to an end. Somehow we managed to keep our chances alive here. Can't waste this cross-examination. I have to use it to bring some new facts to light. You're not careful when you press these witnesses. The danger is that the jury will end up believing something unhelpful, as they did before. Maybe, but we can't let the fear of that happening stop us from uncovering important new information.
It's interesting, because you in the cross-examinations for the press, it's like, because you have the other witnesses, you have like a dialogue tree almost you can go through.
Yes, you're so right about... Wait, what did I say? Oh yeah, help that. We can't use the fear of that. I need to pay careful attention here. I don't want to miss even a flicker of reaction among these witnesses. Okay, so that's the important thing. If you happen to spot one of the witnesses reacting in a strange way, don't hesitate to pursue them as okay, so it's telling me that is what I need to do at the moment, at the very least. I should save. I saw through the skylight, but wouldn't that be impossible? Based on how it was set up, if he was towards the front seat, you like, if you're sitting slightly lower, you can just turn around and see the front seat. Where's that? I was thinking about of his midriff. That's right, yes, and the fellow holding the handle was the famous man. So I'm sure you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all. Good to get that on record, I guess. I really thought that I did, but when I go over it all again in my head, no, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment of the stabbing, did I? Oh, these are okay. These are way more apparent than I thought they would be. Never mind. Was this relevant in the last case, one of the previous cases too? Because I don't remember if this was relevant before. Because they didn't introduce it as a new mechanic. I guess this must have come up before. It's been over a year, guys.
Excuse me.
Yes, the subtlest of indications that something might be up with him. Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay? Now you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. You didn't see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Eh? Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. Might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could have he just happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed? No, like, physically, no, there's no chance. Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeping through a skylight at the top of an omnibus, that is. Peeping? I, a respectable city banker, I'll have you know that. And I know what I saw. I remember it clear as the Ballarat day. It was a grim scene. How am I telling you? Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me if I was getting a little hot under collar there, my lord. I would ask that you supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw. Oh, I can do that all right. I'll tell you just how grim it was. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Okay. You think I forgot the sight of those blood-soaked hands after that butcher stabbed the man? Hands? You've done it. You've done it!
Objection!
Blood-soaked hands? Well, I admit soak might be laying it on a little thick. But anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it. Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar. What? Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilded, on the night in question. Oh, yes, right. And there does certainly seem to be a sizable dark-colored stain there. But, as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right-hand glove. In short, Mr. Fairplay... What was he doing to his fucking case? In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent. Yes, we finally got a contradiction! Yay! But no, that can't be right. So you're the liar here, then? That's right, you were quite clear about it. You said it was both hands. I like having the jury be like the reactors. Like, instead of just having like the audience, like the faceless audience out there be like, oh my goodness, he's lying. So we legitimately have like personality-driven characters just there be like, you fucking liar. They don't care about being a lawyer or anything. They're just like willing to say like what they feel too. If your last statement was a lie, it calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really true?
Objection!
It was a simple mistake. You cannot justify accusing this man of lying. It wasn't both hands, it was only one.
But the fact remains, I went through the trouble of making him clarify. Like, he specifically went out of his way to be like, well, my initial statement might have been a little inaccurate, but it was definitely on both hands. That's not a, oh, I was mistaken about it. That is a detail I fucking have ingrained in my memory. That's not a, you fill in the blanks too sort of detail. There's a lot of testimonies that are inaccurate on the basis of, oh, hey, I don't really remember it, so I'm filling in the blanks. So especially like if you do like a police lineup and you see people and it's like, that guy looks right, but you don't really remember what they look like precisely. But you know enough about it that you see someone else and you fill in the blanks, yeah, that's the right person, even if they're the wrong person. That's the sort of detail you don't fill in the blanks of your memory. Both hands, it's so unnecessary. Because, like, if you're filling in the blanks in your memory, you need some sort of reason to have your mind go there, to a reason to feel as though that part of the memory needed to be filled in, right? It needs to serve some sort of purpose for your belief of what happened, the conclusion your mind's coming to. Both hands means nothing to that. It's such a weird detail for that sort of thing, right? The fact remains, the victim's blood was on the accused.
Objection!
No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw the blood all over both hands. Which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court. But why? I'm a city banker, for pity's sake. My word should be the gold standard. I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snipe. Upstanding members of society don't prevaricate. He's claiming to have no reason to lie. But is that really the case? Mr. Narhoda, if we have some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, it could turn the tide in this trial completely. Something to show this man has a compelling reason to lie in his testimony? Yes. My lord. Yes, counsel. The defense is ready to present evidence. By Jove, are you sure? Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had reason to lie in his testimony. Very well. I hereby call on the defense to present this evidence. Evidence that demonstrates a motive for the witness's alleged deception of the court. Go!
Take that!
This is a list of the debtors who owe money to Mr. McGilded. Yes, a list of innocent victims crippled by the accused extortion. The point is, among the names of these debtors is your name. Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Ugh. What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused? No, well, it's barely worth it being called a debt. It's like it's the exact amount that we were told was a substantial sum from the one who died, right? According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas. Not an inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say? Well, what's of it? Let's suppose Mr. McGilder were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case? These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, with the creditor, the defendant here, be sentenced to a capital punishment. All outstanding debts which were owed to him would be annulled. They would cease to exist. Cease to exist? Yeah, that's... Mr. Fairplay, is not the case. Is it not the case that you claim in your testimony to have seen something you never, in fact, saw in a devious attempt to annul your debt to 20 guineas to the defendant? As he just fucking chews the fuck out of that metal cane. Order, order, order! Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Yes, my lord. Oh, is his mouth like... My lord. Let me ask you a question, and be aware that your answer may have most serious implications upon your future, sir. Did you, or did you not, see the precise moment in time at which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim? Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony. All right. Now, let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did overstate the truth a pinch. A pinch. But it makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood on McGilded's hands, both of them. Yeah, like I said, that's such a... And yet, only the defendant's gloves, only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained. That is indeed a very, very, very weird fucking statement, right? And he's standing by it now, right? Which implies different gloves, right? And yet, only one of them has evidence, has blood on them. Ugh, so you keep saying. So you keep saying. I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir. Go ahead, Mr. First. Well, the thing is, I think I remember seeing it myself, as it happens. Seeing what? The blood, sir. On the assailant's hands. I think, yes. I'm almost sure that it was on both of his hands, not just one. What? What? Fantastic. So are you saying that someone forged evidence, or it was a different set of gloves? It would appear we're going to need further testimony from all of you witnesses. This time, I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear? I just imagine he's just saying everything with his mouth full. Mr. Naruhodo, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last. Indeed, yes. I might finally have a chance to turn things around here. Steep dead. Okay. Let's see what the witnesses really saw. There's blood on both hands of the assailants. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters. I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both the attacker's hands with blood on them. I didn't actually see anything myself. No, not until I heard the scream. Anyway, the fact remains. There can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, or we all would have seen. No. Well, I guess one of them would have been able to, from the other perspective. The thing about a skylight is you only get perspective on one of the sides, right? But both of them. So if we're saying that so carriage guys is up front, so he would be able to see the back seat when he looked in the skylight, presumably to some extent. And we're saying the other two were on the roof. We haven't established where they were sitting, but given the fact that they're both saying that they saw someone get stabbed, I'm going to assume the back seat. They were on the back seat of the two different benches, right? So presumably, they looked down and could only see that view of that one seat. They couldn't see the other one, right? So if we remove the idea that the carriage driver couldn't see anything, there's a whole seat there that no one was ever looking at during this part of the process, at least. Well, lo and behold, in truth of facts, one of you witnesses... not one of you was witness to the crucial moment the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly... no one else inside the carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying that we saw the man do it. That's really not what testimony is about. Let's examine the interior of the omnibus once more. Okay. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible in the seats, corroborating the witnesses' accounts. In other words, there's no substantial nor significant change in the facts of the case. Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel. Yes, my lord. What was this is really so... Okay. Jump into this again. So this and the last one about how there couldn't be anything in it are the ones I feel as though would be best to press. Because this might show more info about the knife. You definitely saw that too. Blood in both hands. Yes, I mean, I know what you're going to say. Only one of Mr. McGilded's gloves has any sign of blood on it. That's right. The thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Mr. McGilded sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir. He wasn't wearing gloves.
That's correct, sir. And I saw the blood on both his bare hands quite clearly. Okay. So should we get the police officer that arrested him in to say, hey, did he have blood on his hands at the time? It's true that the dark color stain on the dark leather gloves would have been easy to see. I should point out to that the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported that there's no trace of blood on Mr. McGill's gloved hands. There wasn't blood on his hands. This is puzzling indeed. This must be significant somehow, I'm sure of it. Okay, so we basically just reinforced it. So I was hoping to get more details on the knife, but alas.
Hold it!
And everything you saw of the incident was through the skylight of the roof of the omnibus, right? That's right, it was fiercely cold that night. The glass wasn't frosted over. Oh, yes, I remember. I was shivering. It was so bitter. Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place. Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin. Oh, why not? It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door. It was locked? That's right. It's a public service bus, for pity's sake. It's not what I call fair play. Yes, I had exactly the same experience. I tried knocking, but the gent inside just gestured at me to clear off. So I had no choice but to climb up to the roof deck and look down longingly into the warm cabin below. Oh, I can assure you I wasn't just looking down, I was glaring long and hard. That's precisely why I can tell you with absolute confidence that if there's anyone else at all in that cabin, I would have noticed. Unequivocal, I would say. I'm not sure about these two witnesses. Could they really have seen everything inside the cabin through the skylight? Well, they couldn't have, like, physically. Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You were riding the omnibus and witnessed the events of the cabin through the skylight on the floor of the upper deck. Is that right? That's right, yes. In that case, there is a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight for you. What? I mean, obviously. By golly, really? Shocking, right? Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure. But the possibility cannot be denied. At the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection!
Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here, in the flesh. I will uphold the prosecution's demands. Okay, what do you want me to point out? Like, it's not subtle. By defining the area of the cross-sectional... okay, so... Where exactly the omnibus are you suggesting that his potential extra passenger that could have been in the other fucking seats? Yeah?
Take that!
Both rows of seats on the roof face the direction of travel. Whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin could face each other. Which means... the visible part of the cabin which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight is as I have drawn here. This is like legitimately a grade school level conclusion for this one. It's like it's like so obvious. That's right, my lord. As you can see, sometimes like these are really just really straightforward, right? Seat opposite the one of the victim and his attacker were sitting obstructed the view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that witnesses would have been completely unaware of it.
Objection!
It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity. Now I concur with the prosecutor's rejoinder. It is in a British court of law, evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you're able to put a name to the mysterious passenger to whom you allude. I can, because that's my theory currently. I honestly don't know. Who could have it been? Who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight from the witnesses? I accidentally selected that, but I understand, my lord. The defense would like to put forward a name. You are a fool. The response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learned. Yeah, this is not a hard one. This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn the trial in my favor. On that night, on the night of the murder, the person occupying the seat in the omnibus cabin was obscured from view was... Boop!
Take that!
The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witnesses on the roof of the deck failed to see has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded. Mr. McGilded? What are you talking about, counsel? That's the name of the defendant.
Objection!
I desecrate this chamber by smashing my yellow challenge. Do forgive the discourtesy. Lord Francis, people talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own. But I see they use terms ill-advisedly. What are you trying to say? Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to that fact. It is the very premise on which this case is built. It's not a difficult thing to put together, buddy. But that premise may be wrong. What? If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way. Okay, that I don't know. I'm just here like, the defendant's gloves. Okay, so we're just going with that one. Fine. Okay. Both witnesses made the same testimony, claiming that there was a blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim. Right. Okay, that part of it. Got it. And we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glare above the glory remains.
Objection!
The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance. Yes, their testimony remains unchanged. Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, the memory of events is correct. I'm sorry, Judge. It's been fucking 3 hours, including a few breaks in there, but still. Their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals that truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on that passenger's hands. Both of them.
Objection!
And who was this third party? I don't know. Obviously, the true culprit. Extraordinary!